getting your ass beat in an alleyway, and then it cuts to like a...
Like, see, my hair looks nothing like... That's all I'm paying attention to.
Let's cut to the chase and talk about Scooby-Doo 2002. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Buckle my shoe. So the big hoo-ha about this movie... I love the phrase hoo-ha. So the big hoo-ha about this movie is that it was originally going to be rated R and very explicit. Basically a satire of the original show. But before release, the studio got cold feet and they made all sorts of changes to turn what was originally supposed to be an R-rated adult movie into a family-friendly kids romp. Now in some cases, I actually think the censorship works better comedically. Like, take one of the first gags in the movie. You know, there's an establishing shot of a beach and we pull up. Okay, I pull up. We're panning over and there's the mystery machine, but smoke is billowing out of it. Now, in the original version, Shaggy was going to explicitly be a pothead, but in the theatrical version...
Talk about toasted.
Oh no, the only thing they were smoking is some weenies. That's all they were doing, guys. What, do you think they were doing something else? I think that's funnier. It's elevated by it being a cheeky reference instead of a confirmed element. I mean, could you imagine a Scooby-Doo thing where the only joke is, haha, this kid's show character did or said something adult. They did cocaine. They said funk. I'm glad that doesn't exist. So sometimes the censorship works in the movie's favor, but it mostly doesn't. The main problem that it causes is that it can't decide what it wants to be. Like, the opening is straight up just a parody of the original show, and it's pretty funny, but then they say adult things, like when Scrappy urinates on Daphne.
No urinating on Daphne.
And I'm not like offended, it just makes me go, who is this for?
Yo, the biatch was like, what? And I was like, later on.
Yo, the biatch was like, what? And I was like, later on. A quote from Fred from Scooby-Doo.
What up, dog? And dog?
Where's the dudes with the triangle mustache located at?
Dude, do you see that guy's moves? The fucking moves.
But there's also just a scene where the only thing that happens is Shaggy and Scooby fart at each other.
Are you challenging me?
So this is a scene.
It also results in some scenes not really having any jokes. For example, there's a scene where they have to hide from bad guys, right? And they hide in these convenient costumes that are there, which is a funny bit, but nonetheless. So the bad guys are starting to walk away, and Shaggy's like,
oh no.
and he eviscerates his asshole. And I'm like, okay, that's like the start of a joke. There's gonna be a chase scene where the bad guys heard it and they're gonna come running. No, it just cuts to a shot of them quickly taking off the costumes. There's no like chase or anything. They just take off the costumes and then it's on to the next scene. Like, I think the original cut probably had more after Shaggy shit his britches, but they had to cut it. And so Shaggy just... Shaggy just shits his britches. Yeah, just add Scooby laughing in case we didn't get it. He farted. Maybe I should talk about Shaggy. May his sphincter rest in peace. Matthew Lillard fucking kills it. He was so good, he became the voice of Shaggy. I think Matthew Lillard is one of the most underrated actors. He's the best part in both of these movies. He was great in Scream, and he was the only good part of 13 Ghosts and Five Nights at Freddy's. But everyone knows Matthew Lillard is good. I think the other actors all deserve credit for capturing the spirit of these characters. For all I'm going to criticize these movies for, I think the actors are all do a great job and really help the watchability of both of them.
I'm on the lecture circuit with my new book.
Fred on Fred, the many faces of me.
The main problem with this movie is the meat and potatoes story. The stakes, the characters, and the plot are all just excuses to have jokes. And that's fine, but the jokes aren't consistently funny enough to make that work.
Do not go into that spooky island castle.
You want me to go up to that castle,
Didn't you just hear what I said?
but you're scary. And you knew I'd do the opposite of what you said. Unless you knew I'd figure it out. So you told me not to go up to the castle, so I would think that you wanted me to go, so I wouldn't go, just like...
And the whole movie just kind of rolls by you. There's lots of running, and they get on like four-wheelers at one point. Shaggy's love interest, Mary Jane, funny, is like a monster, and she shows Scooby her monster face. And the movie just is a wave of things happening. There's almost no structure to it. You're only ever knocked out of it when something really dated happens. I forgot to mention this movie is so 2002. For fuck's sake, this movie has a Sugar Ray jump scare.
I count the days till I see you again.
Even more 2002, they originally wanted Weezer to have this cameo.
Goddamn, you half Japanese girls.
The movie is a mixed bag, to say the least. Part of me really wanted to revisit this movie and come here and tell you about how this is a hidden gem masterpiece. It's not. If you're into Scooby-Doo, you've probably already seen this, but if you haven't and you're into Scooby-Doo, sure, give it a watch. You'll get a kick out of it. There are some funny bits in there. One of the funniest moments for me was seeing this guy talk normally, but all his minions are dancing in the background behind him.
Look at the dance in the background there.
Exactly. They were like fucking. Hey.
This won't be a gift or anything.
But if you're not into Scooby-Doo, don't watch this. There's nothing in it for you.
How did you not like the oil on fire? Continuity or suck my cock?
Tell me where you at. And all my ladies gather round. Guess what? Yes, y'all, we are back.
So this movie is a double-edged sword. The first movie had already come out. The whole fiasco with making it more family-friendly already happened. So from the off, it's clear that James Gunn and everyone involved knew from the beginning that this would be a kids movie. And I think the movie benefits from that because there are actually constructed jokes that don't feel like they had to cut around. Like at the beginning where they set up each of the gang has their own fans who worship them, and then Scooby's fans are just actual dogs. That's a joke. It actually has a setup and a punchline. If this was the first movie, Shaggy would have just shit himself. If this was the first movie, Shaggy would have just shit his pants already. It's so stupid. If this was the first movie, if this was the first movie, Shaggy would have just shit his pants, and that would be the joke. But the problem, the reason I say it's a double-edged sword, is that the jokes aren't really as funny. Like, there are some really good ones I'll get to, but a lot of them are kids' movie jokes.
Which makes his weakest point right here!
Right in the round tables.
That's fun for kids, but it's like, haha, balls. Shaggy just... But when the movie's funny, it is really funny. I found quite a few jokes actually getting me to laugh.
Ah, clues. Alas, what are these strange markings?
Words.
Ah.
And of course, the famous Coolsville Sucks gag.
So what you're saying is, it's all downhill for Mystery Inc.
No! Hey, you're doing that thing again where you take everything I say out of context. You're trying to make it look like I think Coolsville sucks. No! Don't record that!
All Fred Jones had to say was,
I think Coolsville sucks.
in light of the city's recent...
Truth be told, that's the best gag in all of these movies. And even then, some of the dumb gags kind of made me laugh as well.
Check out my pecs, little man.
I guess I should just say it. This movie's fucking stupid.
Hey, handsome.
Hello, baby.
You know, I criticized the first movie, but I don't think I was ever this embarrassed watching it.
Never ever had to change before. I keep it real for my dogs, make them jump.
If you couldn't tell, I enjoyed this one much more than the first. I think this is actually kind of a good movie. The actors are all still great, the writing's still sharp, that carries over from the first movie, and the datedness of the original is carried over as well. Oh my god, it's Seth Green walking in slow motion, and he trips with a record scratch. 2004. Unfortunately, another thing that carries over from the previous movie is the plot doesn't really matter. Again, it's just there to set up jokes. They do try for more. Like there's like Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby all have arcs.
But I'm more comfortable in the world of logic and facts.
You gotta trust me.
And all the facts say that you're the evil masked figure.
Who are your screw-ups?
I know.
But an improvement from the first one is that it's actually a mystery now. The first film, it's just kind of running around. Like they don't do a lot of actual mystery solving and clue gathering and deduction. But in Monsters Unleashed, they're actually doing all those things. They're finding clues. They're doing, what does she have? She's spinning a thing around, but she's solving the mystery somehow.
Randomonium has an algorithmic cross currency of -4.121. With it, maybe.
We could reverse the current, and therefore reverse the monster-making process.
Yes, all we need to do is rewire the control panel, bring it back to the monster hive, and we can plug it into the base. And instead of creating monsters, all the monsters throughout the city will be destroyed.
As we all know, zodiacal astronomy was created by the Greeks in 785 BC.
And I appreciate that. I like that they actually had a mystery with red herrings, even if every single red herring is obvious. This is Scooby-Doo we're talking about here, so I can't complain about the mystery being obvious.
Sorry, you're canceled.
No! They made him walk! Damn you! Hey, Nova. I think the climax of this movie is just the epitome of what I enjoy about it, because it's so stupid, but it's so unabashedly stupid that I had fun watching it. Like Scooby getting an action hero line before he saves the day.
Who do you think you are? Scooby? Dooby? Doo!
It is so dumb. It is so dumb. But sometimes I like dumb things, and sometimes it's fun to let yourself just like something that is dumb.
Looks like we got a mystery on our hands.
This movie sucks. I've been trying to be more nice as a critic lately. I don't want to be the angry review man. I'd like to be more positive on here, even when I'm criticizing something. I apologize for what I'm about to do, because this movie is so bad, it's gonna be an angry one. I've talked about this before, but I hate cynical, hollow movies more than I do like shit movies. Because if I watch like a Neil Breen movie or just a shitty horror like Amazon Prime type movie, I will get some enjoyment out of it. I love getting enjoyment out of bad things. But when a movie is just pandering, fake and hollow and cynical, that is what I hate more. A cinematic universe of Hanna-Barbera characters, really? For those that don't know, this movie is not really a Scooby-Doo movie. There's no mystery. They actually do a reveal at the end that would make sense and be like, oh, that's kind of a fun reveal. But then they undo the reveal and go, haha, that would be stupid. It's just shallow corporate pandering to cash in on a popular IP. And that's the key word, corporate. I can just see a guy in a suit going, kids these days, they always be on their phone. Spotify on Shaggy phone? The kids are just gonna love it. Kids these days, they be woke. Velma Bader Ginsburg, anyone?
And are you Harry Potter?
I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Which house is she in? Hufflepuff?
She's a Supreme Court justice.
Oh, Slytherin.
Kids these days know who Simon Cowell is. Like, no joke, the inciting incident for this movie is Simon Cowell shits on Shaggy and Scooby for absolutely no reason.
Look, a group can only be as strong as its weakest links. Bottom line, I can't invest with these two involved.
If you want, I can't do a British accent. If you want to make it, you gotta get rid of these Shaggy and Scooby fuckers. If you want to make it as a mystery solving squad, you cannot have a recognizable mascot. That's not how Simon Cowell talks, but I don't know how Simon Cowell talks. I haven't heard him speak since Far, Far Away Idol on the Shrek 2 DVD.
You can't count on friendship. And when you get into real trouble, friendship won't save the day.
At the end, friendship saves the day. And it's just the most basic plot ever. You see, there's a rift forming between Shaggy and Scooby, and I'm really worried that they're not going to be friends by the end of the movie. At least in Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, real cinema, the tension isn't will Shaggy and Scooby not be friends anymore. The tension is, will they see value in themselves? Here, they have like this sad scene.
You need to choose. I never thought I'd say this, but Simon Cowell was right. You can't count on friendship.
What the fuck is this? And I swear to God, they do one of my most hated cliches in movies. A fake out fucking death scene where Scooby-Doo dies.
Scoob, you're the best friend I could ever ask for. And you always will be.
This is the same movie where Blue Falcon dabs! Like, for all the criticisms I had of the James Gunn movies, at least they fucking tried.
So you're saying it's heroic to be scared? And even to lose sometimes?
And that's why I hate these movies. Sure, maybe it's better on a technical level. I would rather watch a flawed but earnest attempt to make something funny or insightful or whatever than I would watch a half-hearted attempt to make something passable. And I'm not even mad at like any of the creative team that worked on this. This is a studio monstrosity. Like, there's a line where they insult the character of Shaggy.
The robots attacked this talking dog and a gangly dude that had this habit of using the word like at the start of every sentence. Almost as if he was some middle-aged man's idea of how a teenage hippie talks.
Oh, that's Scoob and Shaggy, all right.
And it's like, why would you even make this movie if you don't like the IP? But I don't think this is a writing problem. I think this is a studio problem. I can see some studio executive going, now, maybe Scooby-Doo it's very old. Kids today don't like old things. You know, we gotta update it. We gotta bring in Spotify. And the kids gotta charge their phone. They're all on their phones now. So kids today are gonna look at these characters and say, these are dumb. People are gonna say, these are lame characters. They're not cool. We gotta be hip with the youth. So like, throw in a self-aware line where we acknowledge, yeah, these characters aren't the coolest, but trust us, we're gonna make them really cool.
Let us cook, as the kids would say.
You know, Fred, he's not that cool, but we're gonna have him wield part of the mystery machine like it's Captain America's shield. And the kids are gonna really love it. And he's gonna bring out his famous ascot. And don't you recognize the ascot? Isn't it so cool that he put it on? He's so cool. This is a much better character than the original. So that was very angry and passionate, but also very mean. And also, I don't really want to end this video on that kind of sour note. So here you have a bonus movie. We're talking about Scooby-Doo, The Mystery Begins. This one's fine. It's cute. Not a great idea to review it as a bonus movie because there's not a lot to say about it. It's cute to see these characters in a high school setting. Although they do some annoying origin story isms that don't add anything.
Would you do it for a Scooby snack?
Will we back?
Yeah, I figure you love these treats so much I'd name them after you.
But they're few and far between, so it doesn't bother me that much. And there's really sweet moments, like when they're all in detention and Shaggy notices that they're all reading mystery books.
Hey, like, look at that. You all like mysteries, huh? Yeah, I'm not so into them myself. You know, they kind of freak me out.
That's a nice little detail. Although Fred is brunette in this, so I guess the movie's shit. Let's talk about the actors though. They all do a pretty good job. I was very much surprised by Nick Pilatus. Is that how you say his name? Pilatus? Sorry. This movie kind of made me like the other movies less because it made me realize how little of movies they were. Like, this one's actually a story. This one actually has structure and things happen and it's a logical progression. So much of the original two films are just thing happens and everyone's running around and farting and shitting. A lot of the jokes don't land, but this one was just cozy. It's good for kids without talking down to them too much. Like, the idea of kid-friendly jokes in the first two movies are just like screaming, shitting yourself, and shitting your britches. Like, this one feels like an actual movie. I think I would describe the humor in these movies as being consistently middle of the road, whereas the James Gunn movies have much higher highs, but much lower lows. So that was the Scooby-Doo movies, and
Game Boy Advance Secret Code.
Like Scoob, what is your favorite thing to do on the weekends?
I don't really know what to do. Oh yeah, I guess I usually rank the movies I watch when I do one of these big series retrospectives. Scoob, Scooby-Doo 1, Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins, and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, baby! Woo! That's what I'm talking about! Real cinema! Yeah! Yeah!